The shutdown is over, but the struggle is still real for millions of Americans. That's because full SNAP benefits and back pay for hundreds of thousands of federal workers still hasn't hit bank accounts. Flights are still being canceled. Healthcare costs are about to surge for millions of Obamacare enrollees if Congress doesn't act before January. CNN's Renee Marsh is with us now on this story. Let's start first with the food. You have 42 million SNAP recipients, and it's not like the House voted and they saw their money.
Right, and they may have to wait a few more days. And remember, we've been talking about SNAP for several weeks now because this program has really became the flashpoint of this shutdown and really illustrated the area in which Americans were feeling the pain. So the big question now is when will the Americans who rely on this program receive their full benefits? And it really depends on what state you live in. It is a patchwork and it will be different from state to state, but on average or generally speaking, anywhere from the next 3 days to a week, people can begin to receive these full funds. And the good news about this funding package that the president signed last night is that it also includes funding this particular program for a full year. So this program is secure for that amount of time.
And what about federal workers who, they're looking for their back pay? They haven't gotten paychecks.
Yeah, we're talking about more than 1.4 million federal workers who are either furloughed or working without pay. Many of them missed some 2 full paychecks during this shutdown. And when they will receive their back pay really, again, is going to rely on and depend on which agency that they work for. Many of these agencies have different pay schedules. In speaking with the labor unions in old times, they usually would get their back pay within 3 business days. There is some concern it could take longer this time around because of many of the staffers within these HR departments at these agencies have either been furloughed or left the job as part of the administration's larger downsizing of the federal workforce. But again, generally speaking, we are expecting people will start getting their back pay in the next few business days or several business days. We heard from DHS Secretary Kristi Noem saying that TSA will get their back pay in the, quote, coming days.
And these Obamacare subsidies, the extension of which Democrats were demanding, I think people have become very aware of them. What about them? Because they're set to expire at the end of the year.
Right. And that was really the sticking point, which is why this fight lasted as long as it did. Democrats really holding out for a vote on that. We know that because of this deal that was signed, it guarantees a vote in early December in the Senate. We talked about this before. It's unlikely to go anywhere, but this is something that will impact some 24 million Americans. And we're talking about subsidies going away and what that means for premiums. It could mean as much as 112% increase on these health insurance premiums. So along with groceries being more expensive, this is the other issue that Americans could be facing if something isn't resolved with extending these subsidies. Brianna.
Congress is back in session and back on the clock. The enhanced Obamacare subsidies at the center of the shutdown fight will expire at the end of the year, and with no extension, tens of millions of Americans could see their premiums jump an average of 114%. Republican leaders in the Senate have promised a vote on the subsidies before they expire, but it's not so clear in the House. Speaker Mike Johnson says that he's open to working with Democrats to address health insurance costs, but would not guarantee a vote on extending the enhanced subsidies. Republican Congressman Carlos Jimenez of Florida is with us now. Sir, you support a 1-year extension on these subsidies. Are you expecting the Speaker to allow a vote on that?
I haven't spoken to the Speaker about it. I think it's still up in the air. There are a number of us on our side of the aisle that want to see the extension of these subsidies because I think it would hurt a great number of American citizens. But mind you, the termination of these subsidies was actually put in by the Democrats. They're the ones that put the subsidies in place, knowing that it was not sustainable. And they're the ones that actually put the end date. And so I find it very ironic that they are now saying that's our issue when in fact it was their issue. They created this. Now also, one thing you need to think about, the subsidies are there to try to make the Affordable Care Act affordable. So that means that the Affordable Care Act right now is unaffordable. It is running amok. It is full of problems, just like we said there was going to be full of problems when it was passed originally by the Democrats. and now we need to fix it. And so the Speaker is committed to fixing the health care issue, the Affordable Care Act, either by replacement or by fixing it so that it becomes affordable again. Right now it is unaffordable. I want the 1-year extension to give us the time to fix the underlying problem, which is the Unaffordable Care Act. And that's what we're facing today.
Yeah, I mean, we're hearing these even people who aren't on the Obamacare exchange, but we're hearing that complaint from everyone. It's a huge problem that you all in Congress are addressing or need to address. I want to ask you on the Epstein files. Speaker Johnson is saying that he will bring a vote next week. Will you vote, if there is that vote, will you vote to force DOJ to release all the Epstein files?
I have no problem in releasing, the files that they have. I know that they've also run into the court system. The court system, some of the files they can't release because then it would put in jeopardy the names of a lot of the victims, and they want their privacy. And so whatever files can be released should be released. We need to put this behind us. This drib and drab that comes out every once in a while, it's another story, etc. Like I said before, if there was something in there that somehow implicated, the President Trump, the Biden administration would have shown it to us during their time when they had control of the files. I have no problems in releasing those files, as long as the court system says they're eligible to be released.
Why does this White House then, do you think, why are they fighting to not release it?
Look, like I said, I don't know why there's a fight, but the American people need to know the truth, whatever it is and whoever it is. And so again, I'm very confident that the president is not implicated in this, and that because if he was, again, the Biden administration would have let us know that, a long time ago. But
those emails that were
some
released,
of these
you
files
don't
need
think
to be protected
that raises
because
any
of the
questions?
victims.
The emails that were released talking about him don't raise any questions for you?
Not right now, no. Not they don't raise, the ones that I read is somebody said, hey, somebody's seeking information, you can either protect him or you can throw him under the bus. And I think that's somebody giving legal advice to Epstein to see how what works best for him.
The email where Epstein is saying to Maxwell that Trump spent hours at Epstein's house with someone whose name was redacted, who Republicans are now saying was Virginia Giuffre.
Right, and she has said that any time that she spent with him, he did absolutely nothing wrong. So there you have it.
Yeah, no, and I've asked people about that as well. She's also, unfortunately, not living anymore, right? Nor is Jeffrey Epstein. So some questions raised by those emails, we don't have parties that we can ask. And what Ghislaine Maxwell is saying is sort of undercut by that. Nonetheless, I do want to ask you, because I want to talk to you about these boat strikes. I think it's really important that we move on to talk about that, because you've been supportive of the U.S. strikes on these alleged drug boats. There's this carrier strike group that's now in the region. A U.S. official said last week that the Trump administration is seeking a DOJ legal rationale for strikes against land targets without congressional authorization. Are you okay with that, them seeking a legal rationale for strikes against land targets without congressional authorization?
Look, I've been okay with destroying those people that have been killing hundreds of thousands of Americans for years. I had Christopher Wray in front of my subcommittee, ask him why these organizations were not labeled as terrorists. They were actually killing more Americans than Al Qaeda ever did. And so whether you're killed by a bullet, a bomb, or poison, you're still being killed. And so these are terrorist organizations. It's been demonstrated that they have killed hundreds of thousands of Americans. More Americans have died of overdose in the last 5 years that were killed in the entire Second World War. And so these folks have been at war with us. And so, yeah, we need to protect the American citizens. We need to protect our people. And I'm glad that the president is actually taking some decisive action to do just that. So, yes, I will support the elimination of these drugs.
No, but that's not what I'm asking.
And those people that are trying to carry these drugs.
Do you think Congress should have? You're okay. So you're the congressional part of it.
Yeah.
Okay, not a problem.
Look, I mean,
for you.
look,
Okay.
these are look, I like it as
No, that's fair. I just wanted to be clear on that. Yeah, I just want to be clear on that part.
Yeah.
So you recently visited Southcom HQ, which oversees these strikes, and then 10 days after, the
Right.
commander, Admiral Alvin Halsey, made an unusual move of stepping down just a year into his tenure. Did you speak to him? Can you tell us about that? Did you talk to him in any sort of fulsome way? Did he raise any concerns with you about the legality of the operations?
Unfortunately, I can't tell you what I spoke about because it was in a classified setting. And so I really can't verify one way or the other. It was a classified setting, the conversations that we had, he and I.
All right. Congressman Carlos Jimenez, thank you so much for being with us. Really appreciate it.